Hello guys, and today we're going to be discussing in MTG 101. We're going to be picking a color here and going to town. So today we're going to be talking about green mana. I don't know what he has to do with green, but sure. Oh, because of his ability. Okay. So, green mana is known as life-giving, empowering, and a great color to produce mana. Like if we go and talk to about where is it? Okay, if we look at this one, we have Vivian, Champion of the Wilds. You may cast creature spells as though they had flash, so it also hastens your casting ability. Until your next turn, up to one target creature gains vigilance and reach. They're also known as the defensive color. Like we have this guy here, Rosethorn Acolyte. You can tap him to add one mana of any color to your mana pool. So, that being said, we have a dozen or so creatures that actually do this, and Standard usually has at least 3 or 4 rotating in and out at a time. And then it also copies itself on occasion. Like we have the Biogenic Ooze. When Biogenic Ooze enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 green Ooze creature token. And its ability is at the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each Ooze creature you control. If you pay 3 green in a colorless, you can create another 2/2 green Ooze creature token. So, in essence, if you have the mana, within 2 or 3 turns of playing this card, you can have 6 or 7 of these guys just getting pumped continuously. Another good card is, let's see if I can track it down here. Yes, we have Gargos the Vicious Watcher. Now, green decks are known to produce very large creatures, as evident by the aggressive mammoth here. And that was released for M20, so it's kind of like the green's Shivan Dragon. Going to be released every core set. They produce hydras. They produce kind of like this guy here, the Feasting Troll King. It also has a hand in producing some pretty gnarly kill spells. Let's see here. I think Plummet is one we're looking for here. So I'm going to search Plummet. There we go. For 2 mana, green and a colorless, you can destroy a target creature with flying. Could be a Sphinx from blue, could be an Angel from white, a Dragon from red, um, a zombie something or other from black, or even a demon can get killed with Plummet, because 95% of the demon cards in black have flying. Okay. Now there are other cards that get pumped when the creature stronger than it comes into play, like Pelt Collector. And you can also play Giant Growth. That's been a staple for, oof, lord, years. And then there's cards that have Death Touch in green, like the Sedge Scorpion, I'm sorry. And that's a 1/1 for 1 with Death Touch. You can't beat that with a stick. And then you have cards like Incubation Druid. Add 1 mana of any type that a land you control can produce if Incubation Druid has a +1/+1 counter on it. Add 3 mana. Oh, okay. So that's his normal ability. If he has a +1/+1 counter on him, you can add 3 mana of that type instead. Or you have Growth Chamber Guardian who has Adapt. That was an ability added in the new Ravnica block, where if you pay a green and 2 colorless and there are no +1/+1 counters on this card, he gets 2, making him a 4/4, and all that totals up to 5 mana. So if you have the 5 mana, you can make a 4/4. Plus his ability would then kick off, and whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are added to him, you may search your library for a card named Growth Chamber Guardian, reveal it, and put it in your hand, and then you can start the cycle all over again. So all in all, green is a kind of, I'd say it's medium to hard difficulty to play, because it's just, in some cases, there's decks that are based around the gate cards from Ravnica, You know, Izzet Guildgate, Orzhov Guildgate. Um, Shoot, I can't name them all. But this guy here gets a +1/+1 for each gate you control, and they don't have to be different. So you could have 15 guild gates out, and he's a 17/17. And if you have two or more gates, he has vigilance and trample. And then you have Oakenform, which gives the creature +3/+3. And there's another card here, the Gift of Paradise. If you pay 3 mana, this is standard by the way. If you pay 3 mana, you can play this card, you get 3 life, and the enchanted land now adds 2 mana of any one color versus adding only 1. And let's look at some of the stronger cards here. We've looked at effects, we've looked at, cost, we've looked at mana production, as green are commonly known for producing mana dorks. We have cards like the Cavalier of Thorns. When he enters the battlefield, reveal the top 5 cards of your library, put a land card from among them onto the battlefield, and the rest into your graveyard. When he dies, you may exile it, and if you do, put another card from your graveyard on top of your library. So kind of recycles. So if you have I want to say 3 of these guys in a deck, I wouldn't recommend it, but if you are able to, if one dies, you just bring another back, put on top of your deck, and continue again. Rinse, lather, and repeat. And then there's the God Eternal Ronus. When he enters the battlefield, double the power of each other creature you control. That's the green pump aspect. When he dies or is put into exile from the battlefield, you may put it into the owner's library third from the top. And that's the rinse, lather, and repeat cycle. And then we have, let's see here. We have Planeswalkers, which are always valuable. There's not too many green ones floating around right now that are of really any, I want to say, use. I mean, we have Vivian. There's at least 2 or 3 Vivian standard that I know of right now. And let's see. I know there's one green staple in my collection now. Oh, what do you know? So we're gonna not collected. Oh, click off from that. Huh. So rotate it out. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I thought it was still standard. Okay, so we have cards that I haven't collected that are actually probably on my hit list because I'm working on a kind of green, not so much mana dork deck, but more just beefcake deck. Like we have Sire Farron the Henchhammer. When it attacks, another target creature that's attacking gets +X/+X, where that's his power. So if you could buff him, you can buff everything else. And that's kind of the way green decks work. It's all about unity. Each card that you play, playing off from another, strengthening one, weakening another. And here we go, a Planeswalker. Jang Yu, I'm sorry if I butchered that name, the Wildcrafter. Each other creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has add 1 mana of any color. So you can just turn almost every creature in your deck that pluses itself or has a +1/+1 counter on it into mana dorks. And his neg1 ability triggers his other ability. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. And given in this metagame, that actually is not that bad of a trade-off. And then we have Mawu, the Loyal Companion. And that looks like, based on Jang, the other Planeswalker there being in the background, that must be his dog. If one or more +1/+1 counters would be put on Mawu, the Loyal Companion, you get that many +1. So if you pump it once, yeah, get 2. And then we have this one. This one I've run into quite a bit. It's Nightpack Ambusher. Other wolves and werewolves you control get +1/+1. At the beginning of your end step, if you didn't cast a spell this turn, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. Now this is kind of indicative of the werewolf cards from Innistrad, Whereas if you had like a human that could transform into a werewolf, if you didn't play any spells last turn, he would transform into a werewolf. So it was kind of the trade-off. You get the wolf, or you get to play a spell. So that's when you would more or less play spells during, your opponent's turn to kind of, keep the pressure and the threat on. And then we have Vivian the Arcbow Ranger. This is another planeswalker that is currently standard. Distribute 2+1/+1 counters among up to 2 target creatures you control. They get trample until end of the turn. Her Neg 3 ability, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature or player, or planeswalker, I'm sorry. And Neg 5, you may choose a creature card you own from outside the game, reveal it, put it into your hand. Now, see, that ability is kind of broken in this, seeing as every card in your collection is outside this game. So you could have, I don't know, you could have, oh my lord, you could have anything and just, oh, look what I brought in. And then we have Nissa, who was printed for War of the Sparks, as Nissa who shakes the world. Her ability is whenever you tap a forest for mana, add an additional mana. So every green, every forest adds 2 mana. And basically, it just, compiles from there. Every card, like Arlen, Voice of the Pack, each creature of you control that's a wolf or werewolf enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter, and she creates wolves. So if you wanted to, and the cards were there, oh, see, Vivian, Nature's Avenger. Just green is so good, and it creates such like problematic cards for your opponent, like Thorn Mammoth, Impervious Great Worm, Convoke and Indestructible. It's a 16/16 for 10. It can't be killed by Death Touch. It can't be, killed if it blocks something bigger than it. It's just, there you go. And then we have a Turtle Hydra. That's definitely a Simic card. And, you know, just as green can create, it also lends its power to destruct or to kill cards like Assassin's Trophy. If you are running a black-green deck, you know, just the possibilities are endless when it comes to these cards. And with that, guys, I want to thank you guys all for stopping by to MTG 101. And if you guys like what I'm doing, there's a little button at the bottom. Give me a subscribe and hit the little notification button to learn when I upload new videos. And I will see you guys on the flip side on the next upload.